Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Woo! I'm your host, Master R. This is Out Young and Kinky, or OYNK for you little piggies listening. I'm joined by my partners, Pup Jaxx and Pup Edu, who's walking around the room somewhere, along with our panel of experienced kinksters, Boy Kona and Dean Dante. For those of you who are new here, Out Young and Kinky is a monthly kink social. We rotate through different topics month after month. Here we do a little bit more than just host a meet and greet where you can meet other kinky people. We like to bring in some experts and actually have a conversation about like how to really get into all the different kinks that we talk about. And we really try to learn from the wisdom, knowledge, experience that our panelists have. So let me hand it over to Pup Jaxx.
Thanks, Daddy. Tonight our topic is leather gear. Oftentimes people are familiar with traditional leather fetish wear, like the iconic imagery of Tom of Finland and art scenes from the Eagle. These visuals have over 60 years of history and have evolved over time, retaining their cultural significance. While many remain devoted to the traditional styles of leather fetish gear, others embrace modern interpretations of this iconic attire. Looking at you, Kona. May I call you Kona? Keeping the spirit alive in new and creative ways. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you for having us. I thought there was going to be another thing.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Kona? Because you love talking about yourself.
I really do. Hi, everybody. My name is Kona. I'm from New Jersey, and I am known as the Pink Boy, or the Pink Thing, or the Pink Hole. Honestly, any of them works. I am a boy of Sir Ray Guerra, American Leatherman 2018. Formerly Christy Girlington, Ms. Gay International, 1999. And I am a bottom. Is that it? Is that good? Did I do good?
Yes, very good boy.
I did good? Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Dean Dante. So I am one of the I am the creator and producer of Leather and Lace Presents, which is a kink party that is all around the city, and I've traveled with it. I'm originally from New Orleans, I just kind of really love to get really kinky. So thanks for having me on this panel.
So glad to have you. So we love to start these conversations off with a real easy one. Tell us a little bit about how you first got into kink, generally, leather specifically. What's your backstory? What's your path?
So I got into kink, I'll say for legal reasons, when I was 18. And then it was around quarantine when I started getting into pup play, actually, as my intro. I found a sir, and he was a puppy, and he was introducing me to like the pup play world, pup play as a kink, pup play as a community. And then from that, I found leather, and I found that I resonated a lot more with leather and leather history and leather protocol a lot more than pup play. I used to formerly be Pup Kona, but now I identify a lot more as Boy Kona. And since then, just learning about the history, learning about the culture has all just been a very important part of my kink journey.
Yeah, that's great. Getting the diminutive right is important, so thank you for letting us know your proper title, Boy Kona, not Pup Kona.
For me, it was, I too was 18 when I got into kink. For me, it was Southern Decadence. I was a senior in high school in New Orleans, and I got fucked right in the middle of the floor of Oz, and I was surrounded by literally men in leather, and I was like, damn, this is kind of hot. And I've always been kind of like into the whole like leather daddy, even when I was younger. I just, I don't know, really turned me on. And I actually got into kink because of leather. For me, I loved the fashion of leather. I loved the way it looked on a person. Not just because of like the the sexual side of it, but I also just thought it looked really beautiful. Just the structure of leather and just the texture of leather. There was just something that unleashed on people, whether it was sexual or not, that I loved. But because of leather, it kind of opened me up to going into leather bars and going into spaces where not only leather was happening, but like pup play was happening. So I became a pup in 2021. I'm pup captain. Again, it's more just I love the way it looks. I don't know if you've ever been fucked with a pup hood on, but it's kind of amazing. I did a photo shoot, and the photographer had me wear the pup hood, and he was like, I think I want to fuck you now. And I said, okay, let's do this. And ever since then, it's kind of been just an amazing sensation. So that kind of drew me into like creating kink parties, creating kink atmospheres for all kinds of kink. So I guess that's kind of my answer.
Tale as old as time,
Yeah.
putting on the pup mask and just immediately getting fucked in. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm a pup now.
Yep.
First day I ever put on a pup hood, immediately sucked that guy's dick. He was like, bite down on the bone. I was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah. he regretted it.
Bite down on it. Oh my God.
For the sake of the educational topic, you do normally not bite when you're sucking somebody's dick.
Yeah, not
Now,
normal.
a warning?
No teeth. No teeth.
Just for anyone listening, dear God. So, Kona, you're very bright and colorful.
I am?
You certainly are. So how did you get into all of the bright pink leather gear?
Well, it was a sequence of events. I never joined the leather or kink community knowing that I was going to be a pink leather boy. I started in puppy, and then I had my color. My color was pink and orange, inspired by the Hawaiian hibiscus flower, because I wanted it to be representative of my culture. My name is fucking Kona, you know. But then I was at my first MAL, and I got a pink leather jacket, and then I was like, well, this jacket is now going to be my entire personality. Since then, everybody just remembered me as the pink boy, and as a professional drag queen, I was like, oh, we love a brand, and then I latched onto that, and then pink has just kind of been my thing, specifically metallic, because that was the jacket that I bought.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not even dissimilar from a lot of leather stories. We normally get the first piece of gear, the single piece of gear, and then we latch onto it, and we just build out from that.
Yeah, first I have to ask you, do you get this do you find this metallic pink custom, or is it pretty readily available?
Surprisingly, actually, all of my metallic pink gear is off the rack.
Oh, okay.
Wolf Striker Leather in New Jersey, they specialize in brightly colored leather gear. So all of my gear that is this color and this material is all just stock sizes that they alter for me. Ironically, it's all my black leather that's custom.
You know, though, for you that makes sense, I feel like.
I can't believe that boy Kona buys off the rack.
Easy, right?
Never would have imagined.
I assumed you had some extra fairy godmother who was making you gear.
Yes, her name is Mimi Sashimi. She's a professional drag queen in New Jersey. She looks exactly like me, but don't look too much into it.
We will just have to take your word for it.
Yes. No, it's off. Okay, just checking.
So 3 of the 4 of us here have BLUF numbers. And I'm really curious. Yeah, you're not.
Who's the third?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2.
What do you mean? I don't know 3 of us.
No, I don't have one.
This was the whole thing,
You
remember?
never got yours?
Finding out on a live podcast that I don't have a BLUF number.
I was under the assumption that you reapplied.
Okay, wait, hold on. What is BLUF?
Okay.
For those
Oh,
listening,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
can we start
context.
there?
Okay.
Who's gonna explain it?
BLUF is.
You just became my favorite person.
BLUF is the Breachers Leather Uniform fan club. They are the equivalent of a blue check mark in the leather community.
So you buy it with money.
You don't, well, actually, yes. But you do have to like submit photos of yourself in leather gear to get approved.
It's rather strict, right? Like there are some like guidelines.
I'd say so.
There are guidelines. It has to be formal wear, and they have to approve your formal wear. So apparently,
there can't be anyone else in it. It's got to be just you.
That is true. It has to be only you and your photo. So 2 of us apparently have our number.
So Kona, tell us the story. Like what's the deal? Why don't you have a number?
So when I like officially decided I was going to be primarily a leather boy instead of a pup, I thought, why not apply for my BLUF number? So when you apply for the BLUF number, they give you the whole list of like their dress code. And I looked and looked and looked. I went over it like 5 times, and they had nothing about color. It was, you have to have this item, it has to be this fitted, it has to be this material, you have to have boots that go up to a certain point on the leg. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh, so technically, they would allow me if my leather was pink, because they don't have any rules. And it was when I was having a scene with a sir, and I was mentioning it, I was curious about the BLUF number, and he looks me dead in the eyes and goes, you know you're never gonna get a BLUF number, right?
No!
And then out of spite, I decided I was going to apply that day. I did, and they said they'll get back to me within 2 weeks. Within 12 hours, they came back to me and said, if you had chosen leather in a more somber color, we might reconsider.
Oh my God.
Shady.
So, needless to
They're trying to dim
say,
your shine.
I have not reapplied. I talked it over with my sir. I thought about it. I do have leather that's black with pink piping, but I just figured a BLUF number is something that you can have, but it's not something that you need to have. So that's why, no, I did not reapply.
For me, I'm not gonna lie. I just applied for BLUF because I thought, hey, to be a part of the community, why not just be part of the main community that talks about leather? You guys, I'm gonna be honest. I barely go on my BLUF profile. I literally log in twice a year just to keep my number. I fully support it, but I kind of agree. I feel like it's a little weird that they're strict about color, but. For me, the whole BLUF idea, I love it in concept because it is creating a community of people who are into leather and who want to find others who are into leather, and also just kind of like hopefully evolve with leather. But you know, I have some like personal opinion about like even leather pageants, and like I created my own pageant, and I wanted to go in a different direction than just your typical leather pageant. But in terms of BLUF, I feel like it's a great outlet for people who are looking to be a part of that very specific community, I think. But yeah, those are my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I mean, at least for me, when I applied for my number, and it took me probably 2.5 years of like saving up money just to be able to afford all of the gear, because leather gear is not cheap by like any stretch of the imagination. And it took years of saving and collecting all the pieces of getting the pants, the boots, the shirt, the vest, the tie, the hat, the gloves, the belt, etc., etc. And after spending all that money and putting in the work and saving up, it was just like, God damn it, I deserve it at this point.
Yeah.
And if I am remembering correctly, and I'm probably not because I thought 3 of us had our BLUF number, I think in the application it specifically says color does not matter. It's about the formal wear, which is
Well, yes.
Which is so funny, or ironic, or hypocritical.
Well, yes.
I mean, it's very traditional though, right? Like these are old school guys that are like set in their ways and are preserving something, and so they have like things that they want to keep one way, and some of us are trying to disrupt apparently.
I can guarantee you, if it was literally any other color than metallic hot pussy pink, they probably would have been like, yeah, sure, you can wear all orange leather. We don't care.
Just no pussy leather.
No pussy leather.
Sad.
You hear
It's
that?
tragic.
Now, on the topic of like pussy leather,
It's my nickname in prison, yeah.
there is an internet rumor going on around you, Kona. I'm
Oh,
not sure
shit.
if you've seen what it is. I may have started it. It's a potential. I may have started the rumor. I heard that you went out partying one night a couple years ago with Chapel Rowan dressed like this, and you did a lot of a certain drug that begins with the letter K, and that you were the inspiration for Pink Pony Club. Is
That was
true?
the joke you had prepped?
I only have bad jokes. You know that.
This
When
man
have I
comes
ever
up to
told a
me.
good joke?
This man comes up to me when I walk into this bar and goes, "I've been preparing this joke, but I need to say it on a microphone, and you're gonna live."
Yeah, that's all I got.
And are you living?
That's it.
I only
Are
have
we
bad
living?
jokes.
You can make it up to me later.
I won't.
Anyway, yes.
When we go into our given gear, do we have that like mental switch like Pup Play does? Like the Pup Boys, they go in their hood and there's almost a like dramatic switch for the pups. Do we get that going into leather gear?
I mean, I would say yes. For me, it's because what I do at night, like, is my persona is Dean Dante. I throw on an outfit that is giving off whatever energy of the night, and specifically with leather, I feel like I throw on a very big, like, I don't know, like Dom Daddy. Even though I'm like a sissy bottom, I'm a Dom Daddy, and that's, you know what I mean? Like, you can fuck the shit out of me, but I'll slap you in the face, bitch, if you want, you know? But there's this, I will say there's this like power to it that I feel like I tap into when I throw on leather. Also just because like this image turns me on. So for me to be in the image makes me feel like I'm turning other people on, I guess. So I think, yeah, that's kind of where, to answer your question, I feel like that's kind of what would happen or what does happen when I throw on any of this, if not all of it.
I love that kind of like armor, like service top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Armor, definitely.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a switch that happens. It's just there's already that like persona inside of you, and it's just becoming louder. It's like drag, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like hyper masculine drag. You feel a certain amount of like power with it.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like that like emergence of like dominance when I like spend 15 minutes to get into all my gear because it takes me a really long time.
Yeah, you get really loud and grouchy. It's true.
I do. Well, when someone helps me with my boots, I am much less grouchy. Just saying.
I was
Not
busy
much.
today. I'm sorry.
I know.
Note to you later.
Yes. Jaxx, you got your first like bit of leather gear earlier this year.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it my first. I've had little pieces of leather through my whole kink journey, but I did buy my first pair of leather pants a couple of months ago. It was a long time coming. It was a really big investment, and I like, thank you. I'm wearing them now. I'll model.
Ooh. Actually, they fit you very well.
Take
They
your
fit you
top
very well.
off.
Yeah, it was a journey. It was at the Mid-Atlantic Leather Mart. And I walked around there for about 4 hours and tried on every pair of leather pants that they had until I finally found one that I really liked.
Do you remember where these came from?
Yeah, Northbound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. They fit you very nicely.
Thank you. Yeah, they better than all the other ones that I tried on.
Yeah, for 4 hours, I
For
bet
4
you.
hours.
Yeah.
I was also dragged around for those 4 hours.
You just like, dear God, pick one by now, please.
Okay, pants shopping for me is difficult. I'm 6'1" and skinny. Like nothing fits. Nothing fits me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These do.
Yeah, well, congrats.
Thank you. I'm very happy with
So,
them.
what's your next like piece of like leather that you want to buy or invest in?
I don't know. I'm kind of just like relishing this right now. I'm just so happy with them. I don't even want to think about the next piece. I'm just obsessed.
Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you.
Dean, you alluded to earlier that you also have your own like leather pageant, for lack of a better term, your own kink competition. I lost, by the way. I lost.
But you were so good. You were so good at
You didn't lose. You participated.
By the way,
You
it's
did
happening
great.
again this year if you want to do it again.
I'm too emotionally scarred.
Listen, that Scat Queen was incredible.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. What like drove you to like start your own pageant? Because your pageant is quite unique compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, my company started because I produce a kink-based pageant. It's called Mix Kink. We're celebrating our 5th anniversary this June. So if anyone who's interested in competing, by all means, come up and talk to me. But the concept of it is that instead of it just being you showcase leather, which there's nothing wrong with that in itself can be a kink. I have my contestants pick a kink that best represents them, and then they have to, in a performance category, show off the kink. And then in the second category, it's formal wear, so they have to somehow show the kink in an elevated outfit and answer a question. So it still kind of follows a similar pageant formula. But what I love is that I've had fisters, I've had shibari and impact play. I've had someone imitate scat play. I've had blood play. I've had people do burlesque. It's really cool. But to answer your question, sorry, that was me plugging for a while. What got me into it is I do love like Mr. Eagle, and I do love the leather pageants. I go to them a lot. I'm incredibly impressed with everyone's packages. I also have been to a ton of drag pageants. I've been a part of drag pageants. I'm also incredibly impressed with the packages that are created. And there was just something inside of me as like a producer that I really wanted to create a space for people who aren't represented in that world. So I liked the idea of it being a kink-based pageant instead of it just being like a leather pageant or just a performance pageant. And the first year it was very we just didn't really have an idea except for we just kind of made it a leather pageant. And then a drag king won. They won actually that year, which was kind of cool. And then it kind of grew every year. But the thing that brought me to it the most was because I loved all the communities that are in the kink community. And I loved, again, the formula of what a pageant could be. I wanted to bring each of the communities together in one space. And a lot of times people bring like leather and they showcase their own leather in their own way, whether it's pup play, whether it's impact play, bondage. But I love when people are creative and when they can take kink and be creative with their kink. So that, yeah, there you go.
You really realized that vision with this year was my first time going to Mix Kink, and the performances that we saw were things that I never would have imagined being in the room for in my life. Like all the ones that you just described, the Scat Queen who won, which was absolutely outrageous. I watched someone staple something to their pussy on stage. It was outrageous. It was equally disturbing and entertaining. I loved every single minute of it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much.
When you're thinking of like your ideal like winner of this pageant to represent the event or to represent your brand, like what are you kind of looking for in that?
I'm looking for someone who is passionate about the kink community, who has an idea of what they would like to see the next step for the kink community to take, whether it be producing a panel that educates, whether it be providing a space for people to come and have a safe space to try out a kink. And a lot of times it's just to be another face for people who are like, I want to get into the kink community, but I don't know who I could talk to. They could be that person that they come up and talk to about it. You know what I mean?
Love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just saying, I started a panel. I'm not saying
Yeah, after you lost.
After. Oh my god.
I mean, what I love when, again, it's happened again this year if you want to join.
Actually, I can't run the year because I'm afraid Kona might run now and win. I'm afraid I'm gonna lose again.
I make you afraid? Oh my god, thank you.
No, I just know you love a pageant.
I do. I love losing them too.
What would your talent be?
Being gay. I'm real good at it.
Incredible.
I just got out of pageant mode, so there ain't no competitions for me for another 10 months.
What pageant did you do?
I ran for Miss Paradise 2025 and also lost. So yes, I understand the way that you feel. Yeah,
We participated. We didn't lose.
I participated in losing. Yes, but my sir tells me I can't make self-deprecating jokes about it anymore, so I'm just gonna say I was there.
There we go.
Who the fuck?
So, we're all in full decked out leather gear here. And what all of us are wearing may not be the starting point for anyone in their leather journey, and I don't think anyone starting their leather journey should start with boots or pants or shirts or ties. Do we have opinions on what's a good starter piece?
I'd say, because I've had this conversation a couple times. I'm also a member of the infamous Boys of Leather in New Jersey. And so as a part of it, we mentor boys who are coming into the community and want to learn from people who are maybe not daddies who have been in it for decades, but just people who have been in their shoes. And I always tell people the first thing you want to start with is probably a vest. It's the easiest to style. It's the easiest to acquire with a limited budget. And it's a really good starter identifying piece because you can put a patch on it. You can put pins on it. You could put anything that sort of makes it your own.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
What was that group again?
The infamous Boys of Leather, based in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
How can local boys find them?
We do a lot of events in Asbury Park, mostly at my home bar in Paradise. We've also gone to events to help sponsor socials or happy hours, or we're actually going to be at the New Jersey Leather weekend. We're doing subs giving subs. So we all sponsored, thank you. We all sponsored a buffet of sub sandwiches. And but I know. Wasn't my idea, but I wish it was. So we all pitched in money to get sub sandwiches for everybody. So it's going to be a little lunch that we're sponsoring for people. It is New Jersey only, but every year we have a new class of boys that we invite based on just interest.
That's so cool.
That's great. I love that you're involved.
Now this is when I'm pissed that I forgot my vest in the car. Nobody look at my back. There's nothing there.
They're like, vest is important. It's in my car, though.
I didn't know I was taking the jacket off.
Yeah. For me personally, I find that a lot of people's introduction to leather is getting a harness, like a bulldog harness or something. Whether it's because they're going to a circuit party or whether they're going to an event that they want to be a little bit leathered up but not get too crazy. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's always been this this thing that was told to me that oh, you always trying to your first piece should always be gifted to you. It should, like you don't have like you're trying not to
I hate
buy your
that.
first piece. And I was like, I mean, if I want it, I'm gonna buy it, man. Like I appreciate it, but so my first piece was actually a leather harness. It was because I was going to, God, what was it? It was just some circuit party, and I was like in college and shit. But after that, the next piece was a vest because again, I liked just the way what you said, how you can style it, and the way it cut your body, and like in the shape of it was just like the easiest transition, I think. So I agree with you. I think a vest is like probably a good one to start with too.
Good stuff. My first piece was a harness. I don't have a vest yet. I have a harness and I have my pants. My collar too. Yeah, I've had a collar for a while. What you said about having someone gift you something first, that is a hill I'm going to die on. That is the dumbest fucking rule I've ever heard. No, do you know why? Because like then you have people who want to get into this thing, who like have a genuine interest and want to be involved in the community, who are sitting around waiting to get involved for someone to invite them. Yeah. And like that's just look, time is limited. Life is short. Like, why are you sitting around waiting for someone to buy you a vest so you can buy other leather? Just go get it if you want it.
100%, yeah.
I actually got all of my pink leather before my sir even like put me under consideration for a collar. But what I did afterwards was I basically had him bless it, where I just kind of like laid it all out in his apartment, and I was like, "Do you like all these pieces? And if you don't like any of them, that's too goddamn bad, but I'll wear them less now."
What did he bless them with?
Prayer?
Oh, there's no holy water?
No, there was holes.
Oh, okay.
Because sex. We're making sex jokes right now.
On this panel?
Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I kind of have like two stories around like first pieces of leather gear. I had inherited a very like traditional motorcycle jacket from my father. I actually still wear to this like very day. It was like an old Schultz motorcycle jacket from the 80s. A lot of leathermen still buy Schultz leather gear for their jackets. It's just so like coincidence I happened to inherit one. But the first like piece of gear, no one was gonna gift me a piece of fucking gear at the top. I'm just saying, it doesn't fucking work that way.
You can find a mentor. I don't know.
I wish I could stick my hand by gear, please. I wish.
You're a top?
I fucking hate you.
I know.
But the first piece of gear that I actually bought for myself was a bulldog harness. And I think that's kind of the most like iconic staple of like leather gear we really have. It's like it's like the first thing I think of when I think leather gear. I'm like, oh, what are you gonna buy for your first piece? Oh, a harness.
But I kind of love also like all the leather accessories. I'm a huge fan of. I'll go into a leather store and I'm like, well, I don't need anything, and then I walk out with like new gloves or a cuff or like an armband, and I'm like, well, it's not, I can always add that to an outfit. It's totally fine.
As queer people, we love accessories.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We get to choose our own styling choices.
I mean, and also that's another great way if you want to dip your toes into leather, but you don't want to invest like $700 on a pair of leather pants or something. If you want to try just first like some cuffs or some armbands or just like a cap or something, I think that's a great way to kind of like dip your toes into it too.
I will say my personal pet peeve about armbands is that we have the whole left-right code. Left if you're top, right if you're bottom, both if you're verse. I really want to wear both because I don't want to be like asymmetrical and only have one armband on. But I do not want to false advertise.
You're like, I just like the way it looks, guys. That's all.
Like I'm just trying to even out left and right here.
Well, that's actually kind of a funny, interesting point because a lot of it, I love leather too for the fashion of it. It's not just the fetish wear. It's like kind of what I said earlier. I used to watch like Fashion Week runways, and I just like watched the models. And if there was like a line that had a lot of leather in it, I like homed in on that too. Just because again, I just love the way it looks. It's sexual or not, there's something very powerful about it as it's in fashion too. So I don't know, that was also kind of how I got into it too, was because I would watch like models like run down the catwalk wearing leather, and I was like, work, bitch. I love that.
In case there was any question about us being gay men.
Yeah, literally, I was like, oh, she's better. She looks fierce as fuck, and my mom's like, okay. Like,
That's one thing that I noticed definitely when I'm like, if I'm at MAL or if I'm at NJ Leather or the Eagle and I'm wearing my leather and it's pink, that's when it's just the reminder that not only are these men, these are
Say it into the microphone, baby. I'm so glad you bring up like leather as fashion versus fetish, right? Because I mean that's the point of this panel, first of all. But I mean when I think of leather and BLUF gear, it's a uniform, right? Like I mean Kona excluded, but the two of you, you're wearing very similar outfits. It's hard for someone who's not like super deep in the BLUF community or super deep in leather to understand like maybe subtle differences or how you make things your own. So like, how do you work within this very rigid structure or seemingly rigid structure to like add your own flair to what you're wearing? Kona, for you, obvious, this is pink everything. I love it. But there's more to it than that.
I'm unfamiliar with flair. What does that mean?
Well, there's more to it than that, right? Because I haven't just seen you in like the pink BLUF uniform. You have a lot of really interesting pieces, and Dean, you do too. So how do you like go about finding those and like working them into your like uniform wear?
Usually I'll start with what's like the fashion story I want to tell. I started out with the classic Tom. I imagined my aesthetic was, what if Tom of Finland made a coloring book that you then gave to somebody who loves Barbie?
Okay.
So then
I want that coloring book.
So then
I want it right now.
Right? And so then it was just, I wanted to make sure all the pieces were there so that it technically does fit into the like classic Leatherman look, but they all just happen to be pink. And then from there, it branched off to what if then I did a cowboy? What if then it was an army man? What if just basically anything that was super hyper masculine? I was like, but what if we made it gay? Did that answer the question? I just wanted to talk about myself. Okay.
That creates the fantasy, and I'm sorry if I just like blanked at the end of that. I'm thinking about this coloring book that I don't have.
I think you should make money off that right
Coming
there.
soon.
Yeah. For me, it's very similar. I try to find a concept because I love to do full conceived outfits. Last year, I did a whole King of Kink outfit, and I had everything custom made. That literally I had like, instead of a lion's head, I had a pup hood, and it was like leather, and I had a paddle as part of my armor, and I had like shibari ropes as part of my outfit. It was like this whole concept that was built from Bitchcraft. So if you're looking for outfits, Bitchcraft is amazing. And right now I have a custom vest being made for me by Folklord. So I'm taking one of my like just like my go-to vest that I love, the way it cuts or the way it shapes on my body, and he's going to customize it with a whole himbo concept. So hey, himbo, another great party.
I love it. That's so cool. I do remember this cape with the pup hood on it, and so the lions, like, that lives rent free in my head. That is so fucking cool and creative.
It was so much fun to put together because I had this like Elizabethan collar made out of like vinyl or rubber or something like that. And I loved and what I loved was I went online and I just researched all of this like old school like a Victorian Elizabethan kind of era, and I just was like, well, how could we turn this into like a kinky idea? And so very similar to what you said, where it's like you take this iconic image and you're like, well, how can we turn it on its head? That's what I love doing. Yeah.
What's your favorite piece?
From that outfit or just in general?
Anything that you own, yeah.
Ooh. Well, okay. There's this really cool like archer's hood. That's a harness, and it has the lining is blue leather and the outside's black leather. And I wore it to a sex dungeon recently with my partner, and I just love it because it kind of gives off this like Robin Hood kind of vibe. Yeah. So I think right now that's my favorite one I have right now. What's your favorite?
Oh shit. Probably hello. I don't have any feeling up there. I'd have to say probably for my first MAL when I went to Leather Cocktails, I was so excited to make a statement, but I owned 0 pieces of leather at the time. And I know, right?
Gasp.
That was actually where I bought my like infamous leather jacket that then created my entire personality. But I wanted to make a fur cloak. I still wear it to this day. It's like a pink velvet with orange lining, and it has all this bubblegum faux fur all around the trim. And I wear it during the holidays when it's cold, or in the summer when I want to die, or when I just want to be naked underneath. It's a great time, and it has pockets too.
It has pockets.
The best part.
I'm obsessed. I love a fur.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to leather gear, like whether it's leather or rubber or scally gear or PVC, like it doesn't have to resonate with anyone else except yourself. Like fuck everyone else.
I'm trying to.
Well, honey, we know.
Hey.
Well, also like my own journey with leather, it kind of goes up and down. Like there are moments because I went on I've spent so much money on leather. I went on like a spree where like twice a month I was like, well, I'll buy another piece. I really enjoy it, and I have countless pieces now, which I can always call upon. But then there are times when I'm just like, I think I'm gonna take a break from leather, and that's just me personally. And I get into like wearing like underwear to like my events, like jock straps or like white briefs or something like that. And it's not because I don't still love leather. It's just for me it's a statement piece. And so if I'm gonna wear it, I want to make sure I like want to wear it for the reason that I need to wear it. If that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. Like when you're in gear, you want to make sure you're in gear for the right reason.
That actually kind of harkens to like we have a certain mentality in like the Asbury Park, Jersey Shore leather scene where we may not be wearing leather all the time, but we're always wearing leather in our hearts. Actually, one of our former Mr. New Jersey Leathers, who actually went on to win International Mr. Leather, Jeff Tucker, which is his birthday today, by the way. That was what he said in his interview when they asked him about the leather community in Jersey. And to this day, it still rings extremely true because we may not be wearing leather all the time to our events. We have like happy hours and fundraisers and socials, but also the Jersey Shore can get fucking hot, and so can leather. But as long as we still keeping like the beliefs of the community, we don't need to be constantly in full cow or high cow. We can just be leather people because we identify as that.
Will you define full cow and high cow for the audience?
Yes, full cow or high cow is when you are in. I feel like my microphone's cutting out in and out. Is that?
We gotta work with it.
It isn't? Okay. Full cow and ooh, wow, that's loud. Okay, full cow and high cow is when you are in head to toe leather. So it's where you have pretty much every piece on you is a part of a leather uniform. Yes, you are having a great time. And yeah, that's pretty much, was that what we were going for here? Oh, thank you. Okay. Education.
And I will say, like, there is nothing wrong with, like, going out in, like, nice sneakers and your leather pants and a nice t-shirt and, like, just having a good time out. Like, all the gear we have on, it is hot and heavy and sweaty, and It takes a minute to get on, and there's nothing wrong with having like a casual leather night out.
Which is why I love you can just throw on a vest if you want to. Again, going back to what you were saying, that's such a great way to do it.
Because also, if you're wearing your leather formals for every single event, they're no longer special.
That's exactly it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of intentionality behind it, right? Like what you're going to wear for a certain night or take a break from. Can we talk about care for a little bit, about how you like care for your pieces and make sure that they stay fresh and supple? I know that the jacket Daddy was talking about earlier is old as fuck and needed some love when he first inherited it. So how do we keep our pieces fresh and soft and supple and sweet?
Well, for me, a lot of my actually most of my leather, I have it in like I store it in almost like garment bags to try to keep as much of like moisture from getting into the leather. I do have like a leather shampoo almost, and then a leather I guess it's a wax where you kind of like wax on and then you kind of like rub it off. And I'll do that like once I probably should do it more often, but I do it like every other month. But again, because I don't wear my formal wear too much. For my harnesses that I wear more often, I treat them a little bit more frequently. But the biggest thing is to try to keep them from being anywhere where moisture can get to them, I found, because that really messes with my leather. But I don't know. What do you think?
What I found it works best for me is being really good friends with a good boot black who you pay with sexual exploits.
Or money.
And money, yes. I give him a tip and then he gives me his.
Very good.
That was a sex joke. We're making more sex jokes here. Yeah.
But I could not, I could agree more. But I partially agree with you. We should be like supporting our local boot blacks.
Yes.
And like they are the professional caretakers of kink gear. And whether that be boots or pants or jackets or your leather sling bed, like they know how to really care for this stuff. I personally try to do my stuff quarterly, but I have so much gear at that point, which is a good problem to have, that I've started like doing half of it myself and giving half of it to a boot black to do.
Hey, cut it in half.
Hi, you want to come back and talk on the boot black panel? No response. Hi, Dash. Dash was on the first panel, by the way, everyone. Hi, Dash.
Hey, Dash.
I just listened to you in the car.
Kinky.
So, like, the history of leather has recently had its moment on the internet through, like, preparations for IML. And I feel like on a leather panel, we should kind of address a little bit of, like, the history of where leather comes from and determine, well, it's not our job to determine fucking shit about leather. But, like, do we think it's still relevant today? Like, all of that history of, like, coming from military gear and, like, being carried down from the military, is it still relevant today?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of what the leather scene started was post-World War II because of motorcycle clubs, and it was almost an anti-military comment where they were taking what looks like hyper-masculine outfits, and it was almost like a fuck you to the German soldiers who were wearing it. It's almost like a counterculture movement. As it's grown and more people forget that, they hearken it back to you're emulating potentially a very problematic time. And it's like some people do take advantage of that, and they lean into that, which is why some people are no longer judges at IML, and rightfully so. But that doesn't mean that that's what everyone's doing. I think again, it goes into, for me, the art form and the fashion. And I also do love the idea of that you're taking what is considered like this very hyper masculine concept, but it's a counterculture to why it first was even brought into the world. Because like leather used to be armor. It used to be part of like how you had protected yourself. So for me, I guess you always have to, with any kind of culture or any kind of like presence of culture from past moments in history, you always have to stay on top of, is this going to bring up the negative aspects, or are you saying, despite what that is, this has come out on the other side as like its own thing, like it's art in itself? Or I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's my opinion on it.
I think it's a matter of we can acknowledge the history without idealizing all like 100% of it. We can take what was important from the history and what was important with what it did for queer culture and what it did for queer people at the time, without saying 100% of that was perfect and we don't need to change any of it. We can take what was important there and put it into a 2025 lens.
That was really
Oh,
well
good.
put by
I thought
both
I
of
was
you.
just
That's really
saying
well
words.
put. No, it was really well put. Thank you.
And like, I have a slightly more of a like nitty-gritty approach to it, which is like, I obviously like helped put together the kink educational panel, and I am not in a position to tell anyone that any particular kink is better or worse than any other kinks. However, I do think certain kinks are better left at home rather than being posted on the internet, or rather than being brought to a bar in public. And if part of your like kink and fetish is involved in a racial exchange or an exchange of like fascist views that are only in a role-playing dynamic, maybe you keep that stuff at home. Maybe you can put it in your recon profile, like, hey, that is something I'm into, but I don't bring it out into the world. It's confined to my bedroom. It's confined to my play space. I don't think anyone should be going out with any fascist symbols into the real world. But I'm also not going to tell people that they can't engage in that form of play either. I run the panel all about like accepting and like how to engage in kink in the safe and healthy way. I mean, if that's a kink that you're into, I don't think anyone should like repress what they're into. Also, there may be a way of like keeping it at home.
Because also, when you're bringing it into thank you so much. Because also, when you're bringing it into a public space, no matter what the intention is, you're bringing it into the view and into the perception of the public, who may or may not have consented to it. And when you get into stuff that's more taboo, it's more statistically likely that those people are not going to consent to witnessing those types of kinks. Yeah. When you have stuff like impact play or bondage or anything like that, that isn't going to be causing them any harm or them any distress witnessing it. But when you're doing something that can be perceived as very distressing or very triggering, that's when it gets into more dangerous territory.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's so important. Like, consent goes beyond just the parties who are engaging. It's also the parties who are witnessing that engagement. So if you're doing public play, you have to make sure the public is also consenting to whatever they're going to see. So if you're in a leather bar, you're kind of, or at a sex party or something, you're already, consenting at the door to see certain things, but you're not necessarily consenting to see like fascist symbols or race play, which some people might find like healing somehow to engage in that play, but that's going to be really negatively affecting folks who are not consenting in that. And it's better just left in private. If you find it healing for yourself, we're not going to judge you, but like, don't subject people to that who are going to have a real problem with it. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys. Do we have time for audience questions?
We do.
Hey there.
Hi.
Pup Scrapper here. Semi-leather, semi-pup, semi-boy, semi-sir, semi-dom. All the things. Genuine unicorn switch. Anyway, what do you, as leather men and people who are more fully immersed in the leather environment, feel as neoprene as an entrance into the leather world? Because I found, in my own personal experience, buying a neoprene harness, buying a neoprene vest, buying neoprene pants was much more affordable and allowed me access, or what I felt was access, to the community than purchasing something leather.
Well, speaking as somebody who, that was my introduction to leather. When I was a puppy, I was a neoprene puppy before I transitioned over to leather. I think it's a great way to get you into the culture and into the mindset of taking care of your gear and cherishing it and seeing the gear as more than just something that you're wearing, but it's also something that has sentimental value to you. So I think there's such a clear pipeline between neoprene into leather and also vice versa. I think it's a great way to, it's like a good gateway drug, but it's gateway gear.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's a fantastic introduction. I think neoprene is such a nice stepping stone into leather, into rubber even. I agree. I fully support that idea. And it is more affordable, you're right.
And vegan.
And vegan, yeah. I literally just had a friend who was like, I love the idea of a vest, but I can't, I'm vegan, I don't know what to do. And so now I can get a neoprene.
Hi guys, thank you so much for a great panel. I have a sort of a practical question for you. So let's imagine that you like live in New York City and maybe you're like 6.5 feet tall and you're really skinny and you wanted a pair of really nice custom leather pants. I guess the question really is like maybe shout out some of the local creators and people who are working in this space so those of us who live here and might want to purchase something would know where to go.
I mean, the store I always think of is the Leatherman down in West Village. That's a go-to. I don't know if they have pants, but Rubio Leather is also a really good company that's based here in New York. They have a lot of pop-up shops at like Folsom East, and you can actually find them at like MAL and everything. But for pants specifically, I mean, these are from Leatherman here in New York. I know there's a couple like smaller companies that also do pants, I believe, but there's actually a couple of different leather companies here based in New York that are fantastic, other than just Rubio and Leatherman. I don't know. I'm trying to think. You might know of like New Jersey ones, right?
I was going to say, if you're in New York, FM Leather.
Oh, yes.
Like FM Leather is definitely the go-to if you want like custom leather pants.
That's right. That was the one. Yeah.
I got my custom leathers from FM Leather, and basically, and my sir like lives and dies by this company. They will do custom work, and they will also, if you want a garment that they may not even normally make, they'll figure out how to make it for you. I got him to do all black custom formals with pink piping all over. And I got them all at once, and he rushed them because he thought I was running for Mr. New Jersey Leather. And then he was like, good luck at the contest. I went, oops, thanks.
So, not New York and not custom, but I got my tall boy leather pants at Northbound Leather. They're out of Canada. They're really nice. Off the rack fit me pretty well. I'm not quite 6'5", but you know, they're pretty long.
Yeah.
Have questions? We have time for like 2 more questions.
Okay, I will make this quick because I have a question and then some musings on the fashion of leather, listening to what y'all have said. So first question, I noticed that y'all talk. Is this still? Hello?
The microphone fucks with you, right?
Okay, yeah, no, it does mess with you a little bit. So we talked about like vegan leather. We talked about upholding secondhand clothing. I was curious to see what people can do if they're interested in secondhand leather and upkeep with that, if that's the entry point. See, hello? You still hear? This is very spotty. Y'all did get the question, right?
So you're asking if you're looking for another entry point, maybe secondhand leather, and how would you do that, or where would you find that? Is what you're saying or asking?
Yes, whether it be in New York, New Jersey, or if you're listening to the podcast elsewhere.
Oh yeah, well I do know that there are a couple leather marts that happen here in New York, specifically I believe at the Eagle, where they provide a space for people to come and sell and buy leather secondhand. I think it's like the third or fourth Sunday of the month. May 5th is the next one. May 5th. Thank you, Tom. I know that there's a couple other places who have done pop-up secondhand leather stores or shops, but the one that comes to my mind is the Eagle. They do one, I believe once a month, if I'm correct. Oh, okay, just kidding. Twice a year.
Twice a year.
But the next one's May 5th, so you have time. It's coming up soon.
Sweet, thank you. And why? This mic is giving me so much trouble. Oh my god! And then this is also me commenting mainly as an outsider, but listening to what you said about like the leather of fashion, the fashion of leather, I should say. I just think back to like 1998, Milan. Prada takes the runway. There's like extra commentary on like fascist Italy, not necessarily Germany as y'all talked about before, and then it was essentially feminizing military fashion and leather culture that way. So I am curious to see what y'all have to say about what BLUF should do if anyone happens to reapply with their more hyper feminine presentation of leather.
Well, I mean, I personally think that this comes from me who like started a whole competition where I didn't give the title of Mr. or Miss, it's mix. I think that there has to be growth, there has to be progression. I think femininity as any aspect of the leather world should be welcomed, in all honesty, whether it be a hot color, whether it be a more feminine look. But I'm not part of like the BLUF committee, so I don't have any, like, my word doesn't mean anything. But I agree. I think there should be some sort of growth and evolution.
It's something in consideration.
Yeah.
I found that the BLUF realm in the United States has been very excited and very accepting of non-traditional color choices. It's just the fact that, you know, it's all the applications go to Europe, and they're a little bit more traditional there.
Yes.
Dean, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you own a leather, like, gladiator?
Oh, yeah.
Thingy?
Yes. So I wanted to build a whole outfit over a gladiator skirt. So I have like a gladiator skirt. I have a gladiator harness. That thing is fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
And it's not a kilt because it's only
No, it's like literal strips
it's like
of leather.
3 inches long. It's like
Yeah. And I make sure that you can see my dick in it. I will bend over and everything.
We appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
We thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
We really. One more question.
Hi, guys. First of all, my name is Arsenio. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to say you guys all look amazing. Please, everyone here, give a big round of applause for the guys. Guys look so amazing. And I'm going to tell you, you never make pink look so good. There you go.
Thank God I spent so much money on this fucking color.
Well, you know, one of my biggest questions is, you know, leather community has a lot of traditions, right? So one of the traditions that I really do love, okay, I was Mr. Eagle 2013. Yes. All right, so one of the traditions that I really, really love is about handing down your leather, right? So when you meet someone that's inspiring to you or someone that is inspired by you, one of the things I do It's like, you know what? I have like 7 vests. Let me give you one as a tradition. One of the biggest things I've learned about competition, as me as a judge or a contestant, one of the biggest things will always be like, let me see the bottom of your boots. Do you know why that was done? Because we want to make sure that the tradition of handing down is a big thing. So my question is, out of all the traditions that you do know, what is your favorite one? And this is old school leather.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really have a favorite tradition with leather. For me, because I'm still relatively new in it, I'm learning all the traditions. So that was actually a new one I just learned.
That's great, and I love that because this is what it's all about, right? It's
Oh,
all about
yeah.
what is it? Community, brotherhood, and leathermanship. So yeah, knowing little things like that. So just handing down, just like we were just talking about how expensive leather is, and how some people who are inspired by us and for us. So you just want to make sure that you just give something. A big curiosity. Here you go. Another fun fact is the sash that we wore has been handed down for many years. So my joke is like, oh my goodness, I have all this DNA on my sash right now. So those are little traditions that we all know. And as we progress as a society, right, and new things coming on, and new generations coming on, I think, in my opinion, it's really, really important to have that kind of community because it just creates a circle, right? Go ahead.
I'd say, to answer the question, my favorite tradition is actually the tradition of passing down leather. My sir, a year into having collared me, he gifted me one of his leather armbands. And out of all of the pieces of leather I have, all these bright colors, all of these flashy showpieces, a simple black armband is now my absolute favorite piece. I wore it to my personal interview when I was in my last contest and actually won from explaining to them the tradition of it.
Yeah, of course you did.
Love that.
Yes.
Yes. So I'd say yes, that was a fun sentimental thing that I just told everybody.
Thank you.
Aw.
Yeah, it's all about the sentiment. So give it up for that sentiment, guys. Come on. All right. Thank you for giving me this moment. Good luck, you guys. You guys are doing great, and you look amazing. For those listening, you need to come.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming and being with us tonight. Remember, we still have the bar for another hour, so we'll be hanging out and talking to people and take the time, talk to people, meet new people, find interesting, kinky people in the world. That's part of what we're here for. I want to thank Rebar. They put up with us every month and allow us to be here and help make all of it possible. I want to thank DJ J Clef, who make sure there's so much more than just play music. Actually make sure we're being recorded and make sure all of our microphones worked and brings his own equipment, a ton of extra equipment he would not normally have to bring just to make us heard and just to make sure that we are recorded. We will be back here next month, third Wednesday of every month. I am blanking on the day off the top of my head. We will be here talking about pet play. We will be here with Pup Rexy, and we will be here with Chipper. I don't know if Chipper has a prefix. Handler Chipper, I guess. I don't know. Love him. But I want to hand it back to our panelists, our guests tonight. Plug all the plugs you need to plug. Where do people find you? Can they stalk you on the internet?
You can find me. My handle is Mr. Dean Dante, Mr. Dean Dante. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky. I do porn. I'm on Instagram. My leather and lace party happens all around the city a couple times a month. If you go to Leather and Lace Presents, you'll find all of my events. I have a gooning party tomorrow night at another location. I don't want to talk about bars that aren't this bar, but I do have another one tomorrow night. So if you like to goon, come out to Hell's Kitchen. But yeah, so that's all of my stuff.
If you want to find a sexy Hawaiian leather boy, you can find me everywhere at Aloha Boy Kona. But if you want to find a sexy 6'4" Hawaiian sugar mama, you can find me at the Mimi Sashimi. In-person events, I'm always in Asbury Park, specifically Paradise in New Jersey, down on the Jersey Shore. I'll be hosting a show at New Jersey Leather Weekend in 2 weeks. And that'll be me, a lovely, lovely pup from Pennsylvania, and from RuPaul's Drag Race, Honey Davenport.
Yay!
And remember, for all the podcast stuff, we are OYNK, Out Young and Kinky on everywhere you find podcasts. Follow us, leave comments, leave good reviews. We love all those things.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. And we'll see everyone next month.
Yay, thank you.